All right, so welcome to the North Shore 9 podcast. I'm sitting here with Jesus Cano from Baseball America. Jesus, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Thanks so much. No, thanks for having me. Welcome to Arizona, guys. I live here year-round, so I'm glad you guys are here during the cool time you guys are enjoying out of it. It's a really fun place to watch baseball.
Yeah, no, it has. Actually, you say fun here, but it's a cool time. So, I'm from Florida, so I'm cool with the heat. But of course, it's a humid heat.
Yeah.
So, but I'll say this. We were worried because we were actually planning on being here a week ago.
Yeah.
And apparently it's monsoon season. What's that?
Well, monsoon season's during the summer, but we had leftovers from a hurricane that was happening in Baja California, so we got the rest of that. But yeah, good week for you guys to come. Last week, I think Wednesday through the rest of the week was essentially wiped. And you guys get some good weather, get the triple header, so
Yeah.
you guys come in at a pretty good time.
Yeah, we did. I said I'm thankful because we were looking and it's like these games were canceled. There's like a monsoon. It's like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's been some great baseball. But yeah, so again, like you've been here, you've been covering the Salt River Rafters. So we have quite a few prospects out here from
You do.
Pittsburgh. Want to maybe pick your mind on them? I mean, first off, of course, probably the electric duo that you've seen out here, Esmerlyn Valdez,
Yeah.
Tony Blanco Jr. So I kind of want to know, like, what did you know about them beforehand? Now, if you've seen them, like, has that perspective changed at all?
Yeah, so I account for a lot of the Cactus League teams since I'm based out of here. So when you guys reached out to me to do this, I did my initial research. Of course, did the research for the Arizona Fall League too.
Mhm.
But Blanco and Valdez, when the rosters were announced, were two guys that I thought were really interesting because there's so much power there. But you look at the underlying metrics, there's a lot of chase, there's a lot of in-zone whiff rate.
Sure.
And I think specifically when we're talking about Tony Blanco Jr., I don't think we've seen that very much this year. I mean, you guys saw what he was able to do earlier, got that hit that was able to give him. He's just hitting the ball really, really well. But Valdez, I mean, he's somebody that I did follow a lot. He played in the Futures game. I saw his batting practice, which is pretty impressive so far. So the big thing is power. And I think when you're talking about baseball, power is always going to stand out. But when you're talking about prospects, a lot of the underlying metrics are going to stand out. That's why these guys came out here to get that work get done.
Right. Yeah, and like you said, like Tony Blanco Jr., I mean, Esmerlyn Valdez I thought, had a really good season. He's cut down the strikeouts.
Yeah.
He's made himself go from like an interesting name to like, hey, man, this guy's like a really legit prospect.
Yeah, and it's really important for Valdez specific just because with the Rule 5 draft coming up, the
Right.
Pirates are going to need to make a decision whether or not they should protect him or not, add him to the 40-man. But I think at this point, like specifically with the power, when you have power like this, and it's not like the plate discipline is like abysmal, it's not like it's like Davidson De Los Santos level when he was with the D-backs and then ended up getting picked up by I forget who, and ended up getting
Marlins,
sent.
right?
Yeah, he got traded to the Marlins in the AJ Puck trade.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to that, what we've seen from Valdez, I mean, 5 home runs already in the Arizona Fall League, on pace to be able to hit 10 home runs. Only 2 players since I think 2010 will be able to do that feat, and Josue Burseño did that last year. And you look at what he's been able to do. Like, I think Valdez is a really exciting player that I think the Pirates should protect and be able to do that.
Well, I'm all in for protecting him, so I'm glad you said that as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not even the power, but like he's leading, I think still leading the league in walks, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been like a crazy AFL for him.
No doubt, for real. And I think that's the important thing about this, especially playing against competitive pitching, higher level pitching. I think that's where you're getting a better gist of it. You're seeing it with Valdez, but you're also seeing it with Tony Blanco Jr.,
Right.
who played in the lower portion. Like, I think it was low A, high A, maybe some complex league in there. And you see what he's been able to do with a lot. I was talking to him about that specifically post-game when I interviewed him, and he said that's something that gives him a lot of confidence is being able to see success against higher level pitching. I mean, he's been hitting the ball really well recently. I mean, 120 miles per hour exit velocity the other day. I mean, when you look at his numbers,
Yeah.
and when I did research on it, when I look at his 90th percentile exit velocity, which is at 113.5, that's higher than O'Neal Cruz, that's higher than Jack Caglione, and that's higher than Ronald Acuna Jr. That power is pretty impressive and at just 20 years old. I mean, it's only going to get more and more.
Right. That's what's crazy. And so again, like I think a lot of people know about the power, right? But we talk about with Valdez, I mean, same situation, but worse, right? The swing and miss with Blanco. But however, like seeing him in this AFL, I kind of thought the same thing like you're kind of mentioning, right? He reached Bradenton. Most of the guys he's facing are probably more advanced. How is he going to look here? Is he going to be overmatched? I mean, I felt like we could see some, hard hit balls, which you have so far. But to me, he has not looked overmatched at all. I mean, 5 strikeouts, 5 walks so far in the year.
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely had a better eye at the plate. There's been a couple of times, like there was in his third at bat that he had right here where he struck out at a ball that was kind of also in the other batter box. And I think that's just tends to happen with a lot of players who are aggressive and know that the power is going to be there because they're going to rely on just hitting the crap out the ball, which he tends to do really good off often. But I think that's something, when I was talking to him, it was about plate discipline. I asked him about his plate discipline. He acknowledges that it's something that he needs to work on, and it's a big reason why he's down here is to be able to do that against higher level pitching. And at just 20 years old, like I know he's 6'7" and so massive, but he's also some of the younger players in the Arizona Fall League. But he's also some who haven't even played in Double-A, and a lot of these guys are Double-A, Triple-A. I mean, Rhett Lauder pitched in the majors last year, so he's seen a variety of different guys throughout the year.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, once again, like let's talk about like how he's going to feel overmatched, facing more advanced than right. I mean, this is a top prospect who's reached the major leagues, and he had, I think it was a 113 off him today. If I'm wrong, maybe it was the 103 one, but regardless, yeah, like he's looked pretty good. Moving on from them too. So like Will Taylor, another hitter for the Pirates here. He known for the tools, right? The speed, the power, the defense combo. What have you maybe seen a little bit from him right now?
Yeah, so I saw him hit a home run the other day. I forget what day it was. I mean, when you're out here covering as much baseball, all the dates just intertwine. But I'm
learning. I mean, 3 games in one day, 2 yesterday we saw. Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the big thing is the same thing to a lot of the players, that come down here. It's going to be cleaning it up at the plate. When I look at Will Taylor, I think he's a guy that has the potential to hit 12 to 15 home runs if he's able to, fix things up and put in the work that you're able to do this year so far. I think when it comes to Taylor, I think there's a lot of things to be excited about. I think you've seen it throughout the first 2 weeks. And I think he's one of the more intriguing guys, that the Pirates sent down, I think, batter-wise, just because there's I wouldn't say so much unknown about him, but there's so much more to untap. And I think you're starting to slowly see that as he continues through this prospect circuit.
Awesome. Moving over to like the pitching side. So one thing I'll say we've noticed from the AFL, at least so far in the games that we've seen, the pitching has been pretty underwhelming. Now, something we talked about, you can make some understanding of it. Probably a lot of the guys that are here pitching is because they didn't have enough innings. There's injuries and whatnot. Do you relate to the lack of pitching quality right now to probably more of just like, hey, guys are finding their command once again, getting back into it? Or is it something or a sense of like, these guys aren't really it?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the Fall League, I think the pitching is always going to be, it's always going to be not as strong as the hitting, because you see so many great hitters out here, Charlie Condon, Kevin McGonigal, and a couple other top prospects, Sebastian Wolcott, Josue DePaula. You look at the pitching side, there aren't these like top pitching prospects last year. I mean, Andrew Painter was pitching in the Fall League last year, but that's because he missed so much time, so a lot of these guys are still getting in command and stuff like that. And also too, it's like they just need so many arms down here in the Fall League, because just once you get into the dog days of the Fall League, in early November, I mean, the pitching really starts to go down. They sometimes don't have enough pitchers and just are, throwing out guys, whoever they can, guys that worked too long ago. So it's always going to be tough. But at the same time, you're seeing a lot of guys who are auditioning for Rule 5 protection. So essentially what that means is that they're auditioning to either stay with the team or there's scouts out there. You see a bunch of scouts over there that are watching to see these guys once that time comes around, once the Rule 5 comes, or even once their minor league free agency comes, because a lot of the pitchers are, maybe 5th or 6th year of their contract, and it's going to be a big year for them to be able to stay in pro ball. And they're just trying to get that command ready to go.
All right, so there's also a handful of pitchers the Pirates sent out here as well. And overall, I guess like the ERAs have looked pretty decent.
Yeah.
But of course, within those numbers are the numbers of a lot of hits, a lot of walks given up, which again is why I asked that question. But what I'll ask you is there maybe any 1 or 2 pitchers that kind of stood out to you in this Fall League?
Yeah, I actually don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Joe, the guy starts with the
Lowshorn?
Yeah, Lowshorn. Sorry, my bad, guy. My bad.
Don't worry. When I interview him, I asked him at first too, because I want to make sure. So
yeah. So I think it's interesting because when you look at his tool set, you look at the fastball, and the fastball from the research I was doing this morning sits at 90 miles per hour. And a lot of times, you see a lot of players who are just throwing gas. We see guys who, as early as high school, are throwing 97, 98 miles per hour, i.e. Seth Hernandez, right? In the area where that's kind of coming out a little bit more, you're going to need to be able to use deception a little bit more. And I think that's exactly what he does really well. He hides the ball really well. And you look at his delivery, he kind of has a little bit of a snap delivery. And I think that's what makes it so effective, right? And I think he's going to be able to need to rely on that to be able to do good. But he also has a really good sweeper too, which I think it's important to have to be able to balance hitters off with this fastball, which people are going to sit on, hope for the best because it's not as fast and they'll be able to jump on it. But you can also mix it in with a sweeper right there. It's going to catch guys off guard. It's going to get a little bit of swing and miss action right there too. So he's a pitcher that really stands out to me. But looking at the other guys too, I'm looking at Woods, who has really good stuff, but the command hasn't always been efficient, isn't going to a lot of swing and miss stuff, but his slider's super, super good. Derek Diamond, a guy who's coming off with a lot of injuries and stuff like that, getting into back to the mix of things. Fastball sits at 97 miles per hour.
Right.
That's really good. That's really good. That's stuff you want to see. But it's now about getting the command and stuff like that. And I know you mentioned like the ERA, the walks and stuff like that. I think the most important thing when we're looking at not just the fall league, but also maybe spring training at the beginning of the year when people get, a little bit scared. It's like, why is this pitcher, have a 8 ERA, 7 ERA and giving up 2 or 3 runs in 2 innings? That's because they're focusing on being able to hit the strike zone a little bit more. They want to be able to throw strike zone. I remember having a conversation with Paul Sewald when he was pitching for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like, he doesn't care if he gets up 2 or 3 hits as long as he's able to connect in the strike zone. For a lot of these guys that are missing time, you're going to need to be able to prove that you're able to do that so far. So when you look at pitching and stuff like that, I think it's important to recognize the strike percentage that they're able to throw too.
Well, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one last thing that I do want to mention in the past Pirates draft class, and I'm not just saying this because I'm wearing a Fresno State polo, but I want to talk about Murph Gray. I think Murph Gray is going to be a really exciting player to watch. I think my first year working at Baseball America, I learned so much just about scouting, and when I was talking to people about Murph Gray, a lot of people were concerned about the chase rate, but he's a really good hitter. He's a really good advanced hitter, hits the ball really well. He was drafted as a third baseman, I believe. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay there. He's a little bit long, as long isn't going to get low enough to play third base, but I think he's going to be able to move to the outfield or maybe potentially move him to first base. But I look at his tool set and his EV numbers that are pretty high. Very developed, very good. I think he's a guy that you could see in the majors, maybe not this year, but I think in 2027 really make a good impact as long as he's able to keep up with the power and is able to adapt to the chase rate and cut that stuff down. I think he's a really exciting player to watch. There's a lot of really exciting players in the Pirates system. My guy Mark Chiarelli, who does our Pirates Top 30, has a lot of fun with that stuff. But I think keep an eye on Murph Gray as we head into 2026.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, I like the draft pick. There's certainly a spot at third base if you can stay there.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much.
Yeah, for sure.
But well, good stuff. Well, hey, Jesus, I really appreciate it. Again, everyone check him out at Baseball America. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it. If you guys ever need something, I got you guys.
Absolutely.
Perfect.